Good. Oh, over here, Ryan.
I know you were on the offensive side at Alabama, but what do you kind of expect from a Kevin Sumlin team? And especially they've had kind of a disappointing season, but they've had three losses, I think, by 6 points or less. Just what are you expecting from
I've been
Arizona?
on that sideline when Manziel threw, touchdown after touchdown over our head. So I know the types of problems that he poses for opponents, and he just has a great feel for the game. He creates mismatches. He creates air and space for athletes to make plays, and they certainly have a lot of athletes. Defensively, you watch them over the course of the last 3 weeks, the number of negative plays that they have produced, the amount of pressure they've created for the quarterback. I mean, they've knocked some balls loose as well and created some turnovers. You see a team they're kind of getting it. It's a new regimen, a new regime, I should say. And I know that the coordinator has spent actually worked with Coach Sumlin back at Texas A&M, so there's familiarity there. So you see a team that has a lot of potential and doing a lot of really good things, and on any single Saturday could beat anybody in the Pac-12. So plenty of respect for them, what they do, and even more importantly, we have to do what we do well. We know we have to start fast. We have to understand that team that showed up in the second half looks more like the brand of Oregon football that we've been accustomed to playing this year, and we can never lose sight of that.
Second row, Maggie.
Lana had a career game with 14 tackles. What else have you seen from him this season?
Lana, just tremendous leader, super high energy guy, student of the game, pushes his teammates, challenges his teammates, wants it as bad as you could ever imagine. I mean, it's besides the ability, tremendous heart. Everything he invests is in trying to make those around him better. So extremely happy for him, excited for him. Love watching him play. He brings so much to the table. So he's only getting better. So we expect him to continue along the lines of improvement as well.
On the right, James.
Mayor, I realize part of it was the lack of carries overall, but you'd spoken last week about Tony getting the ball more. Cyrus, we haven't seen him in a little while. Just what is the state of the running back rotation at this point behind CJ and Dye? Where do things stand?
Yeah, CJ, we plan on rotating both Dye and Tony this last game when it became more of a passing game. Felt CJ gave us the best chance in protection. They play a lot of the bare front where they stunt the three technique in the defensive end. That's a bigger body that wraps around in the A gap. You got to go in there and hunker down and stone that particular pressure with some power, and felt CJ gave us the best chance when we became more of a passing operation to get back in the game. That being said, we got to be on schedule in terms of the way we operate offensively to not get in that situation, but we feel good about all three of those guys. Cyrus as well. I know Cyrus hasn't touched the ball in a little bit, but he's a guy that we do depend on as well. Those other guys are a little bit ahead of him. That doesn't mean he's out of the mix. We know Felix is still banged up with his foot, but you can expect to see TBJ, CJ, and Travis Dye at the bare minimum touch the ball this week.
On the left here, David.
Coach, all those things didn't really go your way this weekend. Now there's 5 Pac-12 teams that are actually ranked. What do you think that says about the Pac-12 competition and ball here on the West Coast when most people are always chanting SEC, SEC, but now we have that type of competition going on in our own pack?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's something that we already know because we're out here and we see it on a weekly basis, is that the league is very good and ultra competitive. So sometimes you almost cannibalize yourself as a conference where good teams are playing good teams. There's a lot of parity. And when there is that, well, some of these games on a weekly basis, you just really, it's hard to tell. It's anybody's game going into Saturday. So that's why planning and execution and preparation are so important. So I think the fact that these games have been nationally televised, regardless of, who's been beaten or knocked off or who came up with a surprising win, I think what it does, it puts a positive spotlight on the Pac-12 and the competitive nature of the conference, the type of athletes that we have, the type of coaching that we have out here. And I think that could only do positive things for the conference going forward.
Back right, Alex.
Coach, coming off the second loss of the season, what type of reaction have you seen from some of the leaders on this team and as they try to rally some of their teammates?
The only kind of reaction that you would expect in our regimen. Positive, press on, understand that, it wasn't the result we wanted, but we certainly brought up that upon ourselves as players, as coaches, as a program altogether. Never going to be any finger pointing. We have no room for that. There's no room for negativity or excuses. We like to operate this whole thing like you would in real life, as each player being the head of their own household, as a future father. Where what are you supposed to do when you get hit with adversity? Are you going to buckle and kind of give in and, you know, let the rest of your household kind of see you down and out? That's not the way it works. We will never let it work that way. And we're fortunate that we have really good leaders that understand that. We've been just permeating the locker room with that type of an attitude and DNA since day one, since January. Because at some point in time in the season, you're going to get hit with some type of adversity. It has come. They've done a tremendous job dealing with it. And understand that if we don't, do a better job preparing and starting a game, that it could happen again. So lessons learned in a positive way, positive leadership, positive energy, and more importantly, being very real, not sugarcoating anything. And I think when you have leaders that can do that and a staff that adheres to those types of principles and values, you're taking steps in the right direction. Okay, thank you guys. Have a good day.